Hey stars, it's me, Shot a Star, and I'm back. I hope you guys are having a great beginning of your new week. And right now, I'm drinking some lemon ginger tea in my Shot a Star mug. And I have some stories for you guys, and let's get to it. Okay, so the first story is actually an update from a story I brought to you guys last week. Now, I don't know if you guys remember last week, I revealed to you that a woman, her name was Stephanie Dowles. She was 62 and she was visiting her husband at a California prison. And he, if you remember, he was doing a four life term. So, I mean, he got life four times for a murder that he committed of four or five people. So, and I told you that he unalived her during a conjugal visit at this prison. Well, guess what? This isn't the first time that this has happened. The same exact situation and scenario happened just maybe 5 or 6 months before that. So, second woman revealed to have been strangled during conjugal visit in California prison, right? A felony serving time for attempted murder has now been charged with killing his wife during a conjugal visit in the same California lockup where another woman was recently unalived under eerie, similar circumstances. Anthony Curry, 48, was hit with a murder rap last week after his spouse, 47-year-old Tanya Thomas, was strangled to her death at the Mule Creek State Prison near Sacramento during a visit last July. Okay, so Tanya Thomas, this happened to her. Let's start with her in July of last year, where her husband strangled her on a conjugal visit. Same scenario, pretty much. And he's just now been charged with murder. Well, he was serving time for attempted murder, and now he's now been charged with his wife murder since he's there already. You know what I mean? Um, but to only find out that it happened in July, and then to find out again that it happened in November, which was last November, and that was with Stephanie Dowles. And they state that her husband should have never been left with anyone unsupervised. Nevertheless, his wife, his children, no one, because of what he was there for. He's serving 4 life sentences for murder. So they said that he should have never received a conjugal visit. So who's approving these visits? And what's going on at this particular prison where the men seem to have gotten together and decide, well, we're here, so let's handle business with our wives in this manner. I don't know. It's weird to find that two murders the same way is happening at the same California prison, just months apart. So they didn't learn anything from the July one. So now it happened again in November. So I just want to let you know she wasn't the only one this has happened to. This has happened to someone just hers happened in November and the one before her happened in July. Okay. Well, also a okay, there's about 2 car accidents I want to speak to. First, I'm going to talk to you about this one, and then I'm going to tell you one that I remembered reading an article maybe just a week or two ago, right? Okay, so as the article states, um, car full of brothers and their dog plunged off of overpass. 3 of the 5 is unalived. PA cops state. 4 brothers and their dog careened off of a highway overpass when the driver lost control of their car, unaliving the oldest 2 among with their pets. This happened in Philadelphia. A Pennsylvania State Police reported that approximately 8:30 p.m. on March 21st, the 4 were driving a 2006 Mazda North on Interstate 95 near the New Jersey border. The car hit a guardrail, tumbled through the air and fell about 30 feet to the road below. And as they said, the two older brothers, which were Aaron Davis, 23, and Joshua Davis of 22, um, perished, was unalived with their dog. Um, they have 18-year-old brothers. I'm assuming that they're twins. They survived with serious injuries. Now, what this made this different from me was I remember reading a story just a week or two ago where I believe on the same highway, two sets of brothers got into an accident. Their cars crashed. So a set of brothers on in this car and a set of brothers on this car, and I think all four passed away. So I just thought it was weird that it's this brother thing that's constantly going on now. And I can imagine having four sons and they're traveling together for leave and only two come home. And to have to deal with that double time, plus you have two others, I believe that are twins because they stated that they're 18 years old. So, yeah, and they also had serious injuries. Apparently, the dog and the two older brothers were in the back, sitting in the back, and somehow they were ejected from the car. So we're going to continue to pray for those families. I don't know. It's definitely a tragedy, and for one person to perish, but to have to deal with multiples on different ends is a lot. You know what I mean? Okay, so we need to talk about Texas. Let's get into Texas. There's a lot going on with Texas, right? Well, as this story goes, tragedy rocks Texas Sheriff's Office after four deputies unalive themselves in 6 weeks. It caught a lot of us by surprise. Okay. So for one police sheriff office, excuse me, to lose four deputies who just happened to unalive themselves within the past 6 weeks of a 6 week span. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with Funky on this one because we were actually apparently researching the same story, and I listened to what Funky Geneva had to say on this story, and I have to agree with him. This doesn't seem like it's everybody's under so much stress and stuff because how do you explain four officers unaliving themselves within a 6 week period of time? And I'm gonna have to agree that this sounds like something that these people were involved in and it was coming to a head. Apparently maybe an investigation is going on and they're going to be figured out for whatever the problems are because I just don't know. Sure, these jobs can be very stressful and it can be taxing on anyone, but for four officers in the matter of 6 weeks unalive themselves, then you have to kind of say, what's really going on here? Why the 6 weeks? Why not two last year, two this year? For it to be 6 weeks, it seems like something was going on. And trust me, I don't want any of them to unalive themselves at all. But this sounds like maybe some type of thing that they were involved in, and it's about to be brought out and they couldn't live with it or didn't want to deal with it. So yeah, I just thought it was different. Um yeah, so we hopefully we'll hear a little more about that. Now, I want to know, I know there's a lot going on with President Trump, and I'm being nice about that. But are you guys aware that now that we're still in flu season, now we're in the spring, but it's still considered flu season, the Trump administration pulls back billions of dollars in COVID era funding for state and local health departments. Now, we just went through a pandemic, right? That shut us down for a length of time. We've never been shut down in this manner to where it stopped our moving. We couldn't go nowhere. We weren't visiting. We weren't doing anything. It was nothing open but supermarkets and liquor stores pretty much at that point, right? The whole country, well, quite a few states. Now, I won't say the whole, quite a few states at one time, meaning New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. We was shut down. We were all working from home. And I say all that to say, this man has now pulled back billions of dollars. And this is just dealing with COVID era funding and other areas of funding medically. But now, but again, I don't know why I should even be surprised. I remember that man didn't even believe that it was real at that time. And he made a statement of something telling people to drink bleach that will kill COVID, I believe. But it took him so long to take action on it. He didn't believe it. He said it was fake news and whatever. Okay, so can you imagine right now that if billions of dollars for research, and can you imagine this thing happening to us again? Will we ever be prepared for it at that point? Because he's now apparently pulled back $11.4 billion in grants that were allocated to state and community health departments during the COVID-19 pandemic, so we can kind of stay on top of things. So again, I don't even know why I'm surprised about that, but I just wanted to let you guys know that now, if that shutdown, if a pandemic happens again, we will never be ready. Even though we know what it consists of now that we just went through it, we won't be ready for it. Okay, so did y'all guys hear? Okay, did y'all guys hear about the three sisters that allegedly attempted to unalive their mother, for turning off the Wi-Fi? It states, 3 teenage girls allegedly tried to stab mom with knives for turning off Wi-Fi. The teenage allegedly coordinated a plan to try and unalive their mother. Okay? Now, diabolical, but I mean, you know what? I can't say that I'm really surprised because, like I said to you guys, and I say to you guys often, conflict resolution. This new generation has no conflict. Anything conflicting, that they have to really put their brain into it and try to figure it out and work it out. They don't. They go to the first thing that pops in their stupid little heads. And if it's unalive, then that's what it is. And they don't care who it is. Life doesn't mean to them what it means to us. Everything is a video game. You crash these cars, you have these shootouts, and then you just get up and you start all over again. And I don't think that the young generation actually values life. So let's get into this a little bit. 3 teenage girls are facing criminal charges after they allegedly tried to stab their mother for turning off the Wi-Fi. On Monday, March 24th, Harris County Sheriff Office deputies responded to a call about a disturbance at a home on Baker's Crossing in Houston. Okay, this happened in Houston, Texas. There, deputies found a woman who had been assaulted by her 3 teen kids, one 14, one 15, and one 16. The 3 siblings, who had not been identified, allegedly coordinated a plan to try to unalive their mother. When the woman, who had also not been identified, turned off the Wi-Fi, all 3 grabbed kitchen knives and chased her throughout the house and into the street, attempting to stab her along the way. The mother, who was also alleged, she was also struck by bricks. One of the girls hit her in the head with a brick. The grandmother apparently was there because it says in the process, the grandmother was knocked over while trying to protect the mother. So these little girls were just seriously just out of control. And I think they should be charged as adults. They said no serious injuries were sustained by the mother or the grandmother. The 3 teens were arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. All 3 were booked into the Harris County Juvenile Detention Center. It was not immediately clear if the teens remain in custody, have entered pleas, or retained attorneys. So this is the ongoing thing, guys. It's just happened last week, period. I'm sorry, last week actually. So it's ongoing. What do you say about three teenage girls, 14, 15, and 16, attempting to unalive their own mother because she cut off the Wi-Fi? Okay, so I know that that wasn't happening in the McCullen family, and we didn't even have Wi-Fi back in those days. But even cutting off the TV, I guess, would be equivalent to back there to what cutting off the Wi-Fi would be now. You know what I mean? That's what we had. So, um, yeah, the McCullens, the Harrises, they no, we did. This stuff didn't go on. This stuff didn't go on. And again, I honestly say there's mental issues. There's mental illness, definitely. And apparently is going rampant in that particular family because all three daughters already put a plan together that the next time mom pisses us off or say something or do something, we gonna take her out. Soon as she cut off the Wi-Fi for whatever reason, they all grabbed kitchen knives and started to chase her to unalive her. They wound up chasing her around the house and then out in the street. Apparently, their grandmother tried to get in between them. They knocked the grandmother over trying to get to the mother. Now the three girls are in jail. I think they should be tried as adults. I don't. I just think that what else are we gonna? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Okay, so I came across this story, right? Hmm. Okay, now we all like to travel abroad, if it's just Mexico, wherever, but we go to these resorts, right? And what happens is these resorts sometimes want you to sign up to go see properties that they're building. It says U.S. couple held in Mexico prison after allegedly challenging charges made on their American Express card at resort. Okay. Now they're making it seem like they're fighting for it, but that's not what it is. When I read into it, it's like um, you know how they're trying to get you to buy into these properties, and they try to get you to buy into these properties, and it's you'll have control of these properties for 2 or 3 weeks a year. I think it pretty much depends on the type of plan that you take, but you do sign up for these things, and then you do agree, and you would say that you know I forgot what they used to call it, but a timeshare. It's pretty much a timeshare, and they signed up for a timeshare, right? But it's an ownership, and when you sign for a timeshare, you're part of an owner. I've had timeshares years ago, and it seems like whenever you plan to use it, when you book those times, because everyone gets to use it, but then you get to set aside 2 or 3 weeks a year to use it. But it seems like when those times come, you never are able to use it. You know what I mean? For whatever reason. So it becomes a waste. But nevertheless, so they signed up for these things and they agreed. And apparently they must have gotten home and had buyer's remorse. So they called their credit card company and pretty much denied the charges. Well, what that did was make them break the contract that they signed while away. Now this happened in Mexico, and the couple Paul and Christy Akio is from Spring Arbor, Michigan, right? And they're currently being held in a maximum security Mexican prison. Okay, so what happened was they went to Mexico, did this thing, they decided to cancel it, and apparently this is another visit to Mexico. They just charges were they threw a credit card company, American Express took the charges off. So apparently the hotel and the resort was pissed about it. So they called it fraud because they had already signed documents and agreed to pay for this, whatever it is. So they I've actually put like warrants out for them that when and if they arrive back into Mexico, they will be arrested for fraud because that's what they're stating that they did. Okay. They said that when the Oikos arrive in Mexico earlier this month, they went through customs where Hull said they said a little notice, like a little sticker or something, was placed on their passports. And as soon as they were given back their passports, they were arrested at the airport. And the AKOs are being charged with defrauding a Cancun hotel chain out of more than $100,000, alleging they signed a contract in November 2021 to purchase a membership with the hotel, giving a credit card for the hotel to charge the monthly payments to, and then they got home and canceled it. So now the Mexican hotel and resort considered it fraud and when and if they couldn't do nothing with them because they were in the United States. But when and if they arrived back to Mexico, they were to be arrested because warrants are out for them. Okay, so apparently the children, the mom and the dad they've been in this jail almost 30 days. Because we're at the end of the month now, and they've been in this year almost 30 days. They have not heard from the stepdad. They do hear from the mom. She does get to make a phone call to them once a day, but there's no length of time for the phone call. The phone call can last 3 minutes, it can last 5 minutes. It's whenever the person that's next to the mother tells her it's over, it's over. But again, for this entire time, they have not been able to be in contact with the stepdad. So the children have hired attorneys in Mexico and the U.S. and apparently they're trying to negotiate. But this is the Riviera Maya, right? Um, they said that it was alleged that Paul fraudulently canceled 13 transactions totaling $116,587, equivalent at the time to be more than 2.4 million pesos. That's what it means in Mexico. So apparently they signed up for this property and they could use it and do whatever, and they were going to make a monthly payment on it where whenever they came to Mexico, they would stay here at this place. And you get buyer's remorse, you go home, you're like, I don't want this, I'm not going back. And you tell your credit card to cancel it. But you have now signed a contract with this company in Mexico, with this resort in Mexico. So now you can't return to Mexico because now you have a warrant out for your arrest because you defrauded them. As far as they're concerned, they want their money. And at this point, I think they're asking for $200,000. It was originally 116, but it's been a while. It's been since 2021. So that price has gone up to $200,000. So they said that the couple's family, they have reached out to the American Embassy in Mexico and other federal and state agencies, and they're just trying to get help. You know what I mean? Again, Hull said that she and her brother have hired both American and Mexican attorneys. They also said the resort is demanding now $250,000 and for them to sign a non-disclosure agreement that does not guarantee that their parents will be released. And what it seems like they've done, since they've had a warrant out for the arrest, they are saying that they're investigating. Mexico is investigating, right? So what they're doing is they're keeping them in jail for 6 months. They're 6 months straight. They're going to stay in jail for 6 months while they investigate. And, of course, they're dealing with the American Embassy over in Mexico. So they're trying to get this thing figured out and worked out. I don't know, but I think that any one of us can get caught up into that because I know that there's been plenty of times when I've gone on vacation, either in the US or even outside the US, they do try to sell you timeshares and they do try to convince you to buy into this property where if you love it so much, when you come back, this is where you'll stay. And you have platinum and all, gold, different things like that. So I'm just being aware. When you're out of the country, hell, when you're out of your state, even if you're in like Florida and this happens, because I'm sure this happens a lot in Florida. I've had it happen to me in Florida where they'll give you a free night and this, that, and the third if you go to their seminar and all this. I ain't got time for that. I'm on vacation. I'm not here to go look at your seminars and listen to this mess. Okay. So this is what's going on. So right now, like I said, the Mexican attorneys are stating that the resort is now demanding 250. So it went from 116 to 200,000, now 250. Because now you're digging a hole because now you're hired an attorney in Mexico and an attorney in the US. And I know you have to because each can't practice in different countries, but the resort knows that you have a coin now. So they're going to try to stretch it. So again, don't start signing your life away, signing up with these things, these timeshares and all this other stuff. I'm telling you, you're going to pay for it on the front end or you're going to pay for it on the back end, but nevertheless, you're going to pay. Okay, so, we always talking about the airlines and the issues that's been going on with flying and things of the sort, right? Well, can you imagine? I'm going to tell you this, and this has nothing to do with an accident or anything. It's really, really weird. The flight is, you're in San Francisco, right? And you're on your way to China on business, pleasure, whatever. Flight to China lands in San Francisco due to pilot's absent-minded mistake. Flight to China lands in San Francisco due to pilot's absent-minded mistake. Okay? I never thought of this, but I thought that because they're the pilots, okay, this is about the pilot. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how the story went, and I'm just going to show you how silly it really is because actually the flight was from Los Angeles to Shanghai, right? It was United Airlines. This was on March 22nd, not long ago. They had to leave when they were already in the air from LA on their way to China. They had to do a landing in San Francisco because the pilot forgot his passport. The pilot that's flying your plane forgot his passport. Everybody has to have a passport to leave the country and to go into another country, right? But I thought that there would be another system since pilots fly, I would say 3 to 4 days out of 7, that this would be something that's electronic. This is something that the airline, like how we had when we were getting the vaccinations and stuff for COVID, and they started to make everything electronic. So you could pull up, you've been tested on the phone, or when you, just anything like that. So I thought it would be more electronic for pilots who's constantly flying back and forth in and out. Consciously, you're human. You can forget something, but who would have thought that if the pilot forgot his passport, he had to land his plane. He could not take you into China because he didn't have a passport. So they had to land flight 198 into San Francisco with 257 passengers and 13 crew members on board. Now, because of the situation, they had to swap out complete staff, meaning the airline, I don't know if they still call them stewardesses or not, but the stewardesses and the pilots, they had to now deboard, get everyone off the plane and everything, because now they have to bring on a new staff for whatever reason. I don't know, because again, he doesn't have his passport. Why couldn't they just replace the pilot and leave the rest? Because maybe they work as a team. Maybe the co-pilot and the pilot and the stewardesses on the plane, the staff, the crew members, maybe they work as a team. Who knows? But nevertheless, that's what happened. So imagine you're on your way, leaving LA, on your way to China, and then you're told you have to stop in San Francisco and get off the plane and redo everything because the staff has to change because the pilot forgot his passport. Hmm. Okay, so now we're going to talk about now. This is I don't know what, and this is people. If it's not the police officers, it's the doctors, um, people that we depend on, and we think that they should be as trustworthy as possible. Okay, well, apparently, mental illness is going through and going on everywhere because this particular doctor, this happened in Hawaii, which is here, United States. Um, a doctor allegedly tries to push wife off of a Hawaii hotspot, which is a cliff. Bashed her head with rocks after she refused to take photos with him. A doctor attempted to unalive his wife by pushing her off of a cliff. And when that didn't work, he tried to bash her head in with rocks because she refused to take pictures with him. This is a doctor now. Okay. Okay. So this is how we're going to do this. Now, again, remember, Hawaii is part of the United States. So it says a doctor has been charged with trying to unalive his wife by pushing her off of a Hawaiian hotspot and then bashing her in the head with rocks, allegedly just for refusing to take photos with him. Okay. Gerhard Kong, a 46-year-old anesthesiologist from Maui. They're from another part of Hawaii. Now they're visiting another part of Hawaii, and he's visiting another part of Hawaii with his 36-year-old wife. She's a nuclear engineer, Ariel Kong. Okay, when he allegedly pushed her off of a hiking trail at a lookout, a famous panoramic viewpoint, according to the officers. He allegedly flipped because his wife refused to take pictures with him. So wait. Okay, so we're on vacation. We're at the highest part of the mountain, and we're overlooking. It's a sight. It's a sight to be seen. This is what everybody climbs this thing, okay, to go. Now, I'm going to show you pictures of the couple just so you get an idea. They don't look like anything would have been wrong. She's a nuclear engineer. He's an anesthesiologist. So, I mean, to me, everything should have been hunky dory, right? But this is the couple, okay? And again, he attempted to push her off of the cliff. And when that didn't work, he started hitting her in the head with rocks. I don't know. That sounds like a breakdown to me. Like, I don't know what that's about. Because she wouldn't take pictures with him. So that's a tantrum that a kid would jump up and down, but they wouldn't attempt to unalive you. It says the doctor also repeatedly punched his wife and was hitting her with rocks. And at some point, even tried to poke her with 2 syringes, according to the Honolulu authorities, which did not elaborate on whether the syringes contained drugs or not. Okay, so it's so much that they're not saying about this. I don't understand, how did he just go off the deep end like that? Because she didn't want to take pictures with him. So she doesn't want to take pictures with you, so you attempt to push her off the cliff. And when that doesn't work and she grabs onto something, you start to punch her in the head, allegedly, and then hit her in the head with rocks. So you're really trying to out her. Okay. You're a doctor. What happened that made you flip to that point to where, you wanted to unalive your wife, and you say because she didn't want to take pictures? The wife was rushed to the hospital in serious condition with multiple facial and head injuries after the alleged attack. Early Monday, according to the Honolulu Police Department, the husband, Kong, was arrested close to the P. Holly Highway after a brief foot chase around 6:45 p.m. on Monday, roughly 8 hours after the alleged attack. So he ran. He ran and they went after him. Now, I'm going to show you the clip that he attempted to push her off of. And when she wouldn't go, he started punching her in the face and in the head, allegedly, and then hitting her with rocks in the head. So I don't know, but I'm going to show you the cliff. This is the cliff that he attempted to push her off of. And I don't know what saved her. This is the cliff here. He attempted to push her off of this cliff. When that didn't happen, he started punching on her and hitting her and throwing rocks at her and hitting her. Wow. That's a lot going on. That is a lot going on, people, for real. Okay, so let's get to The Price is Right. Now, I mean, we all have been fans. We all have been fans of The Price is Right. I mean, I know I did. My grandmother loved. I grew up on The Price is Right. Price is Right is so old that they've had generations of the girls that come out. Like it's been generations of them. And Bob Barker, remember Bob Barker? And now they have another host. Okay, so now I've known this before because I've actually known a family member or something. I don't quite remember. I know I was younger, but somebody either from my family or someone close to my family won on The Price is Right, and I knew what I'm about to tell you, but I don't know if most people know. So it says Price is Right contestant wins $120,000 Aston Martin, but fans are worried about one big problem. Well, the big problem I can tell you right now is the taxes. People don't understand or don't know that when you go on these game shows, you can win a prize. Now, mind you, normally they don't normally give away Aston Martins, right? This is a special show, and it's like when you do win certain games, they bring out bigger prizes. I haven't watched it. I'm just telling you what I read. I haven't watched Price is Right in Lord knows probably 20 years, if not more. What I will say is, usually it's a Mustang or something like that, you know, because it's California, so most of the time I do believe it's usually Mustangs. Well, you win these cars, you win these prizes, but you have to pay taxes on them. You know how when you purchase a car and you have to pay, even though you're purchasing the car and all that, you got to pay taxes on that, right? So people don't understand that when they go on these game shows and you win these prizes, you can't get those prizes until you pay the taxes. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you're giving a certain amount of time to get the tax money together to get your prize. If not, you forfeit it. Okay. So some people say, "Oh, I'll get the car and I'll sell it." Well, first you got to pay for the taxes for the car, then get it, then sell it, and then get your money back, hopefully. Well, now that this particular person won $120,000 Aston Martin, the taxes on that is going to be pretty outrageous. And there's a luxury tax, if I'm not mistaken, that has to be paid because it's an Aston Martin, it's a foreign car, so a luxury tax has to be paid on top of that. So the fear is that you win these prizes, but you're not going to be able to ever get them because you could never afford the majority. Who has $30,000-$40,000 sitting around to pay off taxes of something? You know what I mean? So when you're talking about $120,000 plus whatever else this person won, you're talking a lot. So I don't know. But the thing is, you have to pay the taxes. And I have often felt like shows like The Price is Right, for instance, right? You come on, I remember people used to, they run up and you get on this thing and you got to win to even get up to the stage to win a bigger prize, right? So you do that. But you're a game show. You're making all your money from us viewing this show and watching this show. If you're going to give a contestant something, a prize, why isn't it really a prize and a gift? Because you're already making the money off of us from watching your show. Why would you not pay the taxes on whatever it is this person won? It's just my question. I'm asking, why would you not just pay the taxes? Like, do y'all guys remember when Oprah did that thing years ago? You get a car and you get a car and you get a car. Now that was a while ago, and I remember those cars being Pontiacs for something, if Pontiac 6000s or something like that. I remember them being those type of cars, and she gave out all these cars, but the problem was Oprah didn't think about the taxes on these cars. So a dealership is giving these cars. Oprah's not paying for these cars because Pontiac had a new car out, whatever it was, and they were advertising it. You know, if you go on Oprah, you're gonna blow up. If Oprah says she likes it or wants it or puts it on her list of things, then that's what it's gonna be. So I'm assuming, allegedly, that the car company, Pontiac, offered her these cars. That's why she's like, everybody gets a car. Okay, it was nothing for them because they're getting them at cost, and they don't pay for the car as much as we do. And then it's advertisement, great advertisement. You couldn't buy this type of advertisement. So it goes on and on and on. But it was the problem with the taxes. Now the people were getting the cars that Oprah was giving them, but now they had to pay the taxes on it, and most of them couldn't afford to do that. So that's what happened with that. So I always think like these shows, if you're going to truly say I'm winning something, give it to me. You pay the taxes. Why would you think that I would just have $10,000 sitting somewhere just to pay taxes on something that I won? I won it. I went, I challenged, I went against it, I won it. Now I can't get it because I have to pay the taxes on it. Okay. So let's talk about the 3 New York City postal workers who kidnapped an unconscious coworker during an after work party, right? And one of the 3 attempted to essay her in the back of a mail truck, okay? So again, 3 New York City postal workers kidnapped an unconscious coworker during an after work party. One of the 3 New York City postal workers attempted to essay the woman in the back of a mail truck. Okay, so I mean, they said no rain, no sleet, no whatever. They gonna come through. I guess they coming through. And then I'm looking at the guys, right? And I'm like, what is the post office hiring? Like these people, he's like, what are y'all doing? Okay, here's the story. 3 New York City postal workers allegedly drugged and dragged their unconscious coworker into the back of a mail truck, where one of them attempted to essay the incapacitated woman during a 2023 work party, according to an indictment. Daniel Jean, 38, Kurt Casa, 38, and Edward Cho, 40, has been indicted on the alleged sexual motivated kidnapping of their colleague. With Gene additionally facing SA charges because he's the only one that he's the only one that attempted to SA her, which occurred during an after work party on June 8th, 2023 in the East Village of New York. So this indictment filed in the New York State Supreme Court on Wednesday. Okay, so apparently these 3 workers, they had a party. I would assume it was an after work party, maybe on site, because where else would a mail truck be? I would assume if it's an after work party, our after work parties are usually at a restaurant or something. So once we leave and go there, we don't take I wouldn't take a mail truck to my after work party, would I? I don't know. Nevertheless, apparently they had an after work party. I don't know if they put something in her drink allegedly, or did she drink too much, whatever the case is. But she was unconscious, and these 3 men decided to drag her and put her in the back of a mail truck. But only one guy goes in after they put her into the mail truck. 2 of them jump out. Only one of them go back in and I guess close the door. So maybe they were helping her. I don't know. I'm just assuming that he was like, yo, could you help me with? I don't understand could somebody possibly say to me to make me help them drag an unconscious woman, a coworker, into a back of a truck? What? We should be trying to get her help. I'm not going to assist you with that. Come on, stupid is as stupid does. Like, come on. You got two of y'all are 38, one is 40. You didn't know better when your friend said, "Yo, help me drag her to the back of this truck." You didn't think that was a bad idea? Okay, so that's what happened. So the indictment has been filed, and the three men have been arrested. And I guess we'll kind of see. But if the victim told police that she felt woozy and lost unconscious. I think they put something in her drink, allegedly, because I'm still reading it. During a birthday celebration at the 14th Street Post Office. So they were at the post office. So that's why the truck was available. So it was an after work party at work. Okay. They said that all three male men, allegedly set upon her. Like they all was with her on her, and she was unconscious, and they decided to they said when she was unable to stand or fully hold her head up, the victim said that she was essayed by Jean inside the post office. Then with the help of Cho and Akasa, the other two 38-year-olds, she was dragged into the back of a mail truck. Once inside of the truck, Jean allegedly attempted to essay the victim. Cops were called to the scene and found Akala and Cole sitting in the cab of the truck. The pair was initially unwilling to open the back door. So they were looking out. They helped put her back there. They didn't try to essay her, but they knew what he wanted to do. And then they closed the back of the thing, and then they go sit in the front cab of the truck, maybe listening or whatever. I don't know what that's about. But yeah. So they said the cops came upon them after hearing her banging and cries for help coming from the back of the vehicle, right? Jean emerged from the back of the vehicle, the mail truck, with his pants unzipped and open. Okay? Yo. I actually want to show you these pictures of these men. And they put them up here. We deserve to see. Okay. First is going to be the Manhattan District Attorney. This is what Alvin Bragg. So I'm sure we've all seen him on the news. So that's who he is. He's the first one. Okay. So this is a picture of Alvin Bragg. He's the Manhattan District Attorney who's trying the case, right? Now, this one here, this is Jean. That's the one that tried to essay her in the back of the truck. Look at him. This would work for the post office. This is Mr. Choi, and one of them is Akala and Choi. He's 40 years old. He's the one helped put her in the back of the mail truck and then sat in the cab. And this is the other one who helped him put her in the back of the mail truck and then went sat in the cab. What in the world? So yeah, just wanted you to know, might be neighbors near you or something, who knows? I don't know. I'm hearing that what's going on with the new president, that he's trying to disband a little bit of everything. I heard he's laying off at the post office and everything else. So, you know, we have to see how that goes. I'm actually going to stay on this. Okay, I'm going to go here. Do you guys know, now do you know that there's always a travel advisory list, right? And the travel advisory list is a list of countries that the U.S. consider very dangerous at the time. So they have this advisory list, and they tell you, because I remember sometimes Mexico was on the list and this, that, and the other. Well, now Trinidad and Tobago is now on this list, okay? So Trinidad and Tobago joins Colombia, Jamaica, Guyana, and more countries on this U.S. travel Level 3. This is a level 3. This is not a low. They're saying it's really dangerous travel advisory list. Okay. So there's a level 3. This ain't just on the list as a level 1. They're saying that a lot is going on in these particular countries. And I don't believe that that's so. This is just me allegedly because our new president doesn't care for most of these or any of these countries. He's going to make it seem that way, I would assume. Right. But what I wanted to say to you guys were, out of those countries, do you know that Egypt, Pakistan, you have now Trinidad and Tobago, right? Colombia, Jamaica, Guyana, Egypt, Pakistan. That's just some of the places that's on this list, and that he's saying is so dangerous. Is an advisory list. Don't go. This, that, and the third. I think it's crap. I actually think it's crap. And again, like I used to see these advisory lists when I'm planning my vacation, right? And I used to kind of swear by it a little bit until I realized that, like, one of our favorite destinations is different parts of Mexico, right? And now Mexico is always on these advisory lists, saying how dangerous they are. And then you have people saying, oh my God, did you hear about this that happened in Mexico? Or did you hear about that happened in Mexico? And I said, yeah, but that's like it happened in the United States and it happened in New York and you're in California. I'm just stating. These things, and you hear these stories of how, did you hear that what do they say? I forgot what they call the mob there. But all the illegal activities where they're shooting up beaches and they're robbing. No, a lot of that is not true. And I found that out by going and realizing, and when it does happen, it's nowhere near where we go. Those are cities and sections of Mexico that's like, no, you don't go, I don't go there. I'm not hiking. I'm not doing, no, no. I'm at a resort, an all-inclusive resort, or, if some friends rent a home or something, but no, I'm not. So I'm good with that. So I just wanted to let you know, yes, Trinidad and Tobago is now on this particular advisory level 3 list of dangerous places to be. Now, I had a friend send me this story, which I was not aware of, and I want to know, are you aware of it? You know how we have a directory for the dental and just doctors and stuff like that, specialists. Well, apparently there's a directory listing Black doctors. Right? It's just a directory of different types of African American doctors. And they're now being sued for excluding doctors of other races. And I'm like, okay, so we can have a directory of doctors and have 300 non-African American or Caucasian doctors for whatever background, but they're Caucasian, 300 of them in the directory, and maybe have 4 or 5 of African Americans in that same directory. So I don't know. Listen, I don't have a problem with African American doctors having their own directory. I don't have a problem with all Indian doctors having their directory. I mean, sure, there should be a directory for all, but if you want to go on the side and make up a directory with just Egyptian doctors, just African doctors, just whatever, Pakistani, anybody, I don't care. You have a right, because guess what? You have people that want to be attended to by their own. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're prejudiced or that they don't have faith, because guess what? When I'm sick, I don't care who see me, as long as somebody see me and I don't have to go through whatever I'm going through at that time. I don't care if you get yellow, purple, green, just be good at what you do and help me. I really don't have that problem. I don't have a problem with only having men doctors or having women. And I've seen this. I've worked where Even attorneys, some people don't would rather have a man attorney for whatever reason. They feel they're more aggressive, but I know a couple of women attorneys and they sharks. So it just depends on what you like. And I don't have a problem with any nationality having a directory with just their doctors. Sure, there could be another directory, but if you are Indian and you want to be attended by another Indian doctor, and for whatever reason, whatever that reason could be, you should be able to go and find them. It could be neurology. Um, it could be for anything, right? So they're now suing, other doctors are now suing the Black doctors because they're saying that it's not fair. They should have, and I don't know. I don't know where we stand on that. I do think that it shouldn't be a big deal. It shouldn't really be a problem. Um, you should be able to look up any kind of doctor, any nationality, any race, any creed, any color that you want. If that's your thing, that's fine, because you can't always go by names, because you have African American men married to Jewish men or whatever. So them last names changes and you're going by a last name and you get there and it's not exactly what you thought it was going to be or who you thought it was going to be, whatever the reason. And then you do not have to be prejudiced to want to have your race represented in your medical history. If I want to have an African American doctor, that doesn't mean I don't have faith in any other nationality of doctors. It's just what I'm picking for myself right then and there. And that's what I would prefer. But guess what? If I'm bleeding out or something's happening to me, I don't care what color you are. But for my primary, I would like to see someone like me that maybe going through the same thing, the same risk. Like they say, African Americans have a high risk of high blood pressure and diabetes and different things. I would like to have an African American doctor, which I've had once or twice in my life, and that go through the same struggles I go through. But the only thing is, just because they're African American, don't mean that they're going to agree with you or even understand you. But whatever the reason is, you have a right. So I think it's ridiculous. I mean, like I said, it should be a directory for all doctors. But if you want to break that up, there's nothing wrong with a Jewish person wanting to see a Jewish doctor. There's nothing wrong with a Caucasian person wanting to see a European or Caucasian doctor, and vice versa. And as it go on, the Koreans, Japanese, China, they go to their own people for their health. What is the problem? So for them to have a directory, what do you mean? That's ridiculous. Everyone should be able to have it. Should, if that's what you want to put out, because you don't feel you're being represented and you're not seeing as many of you when you're going to get help or medical help, that's fine. I don't know. I think it's stupid. I think it's ridiculous. I just think it's just something for people to argue and fight about. Because, like I said for years, even in these medical doctors directories, you will have 200 to 300 Caucasian doctors, and you may have 10 African American doctors. What does that mean? And how do you know? Unless you see in a picture of them, right? So I don't know. I don't know. I just think that it's and mind you, this has happened in Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. So where I'm at. So I actually want to see this directory. Actually, now that I know that it's here, it says the Black Doctors Directory offers a comprehensive list of Black doctors in Southern Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Um, I don't have a problem with that. I don't. Listen, guys, I want you guys to be intentional. I want you guys to continue to have a great day and have a great week. This is actually my birthday week, so I'm going to be a little all over the place. I am going to try to get back with you guys within a couple of times this week before it's over with. But again, I love you guys. Thank you for constantly and continue to supporting me. And again, be intentional. Until next time, love you.